Prior to the recent spring tides, the Ministry of Finance has approved $460 million for emergency works at Mahaicony. 2 contracts were awarded to supply some 10,000 tons of boulders. This was revealed by Minister of Public Infrastructure Honorable David Patterson following a meeting of the National Emergency Operations Center aimed at addressing the spring tides affecting the coast of regions 2 through 6. There are plans to apply for monies from the contingency fund to execute emergency works along the shoreline, particularly between Danzig to Fairfield, Mahaicony, where there is a critical 3-kilometer section. At present, an additional $800 million is required to continue enhancement works at the shoreline in the Mahaicony area.
We will observe all the procurement laws in getting it done. There are provisions in our Procurement Act for emergency work. We have started engaging, Minister Sharma would have done that from commencing yesterday, MPTAB, to advise us how we can get what we need to do within the shortest possible time.
With the next spring tide set to begin October 26, Minister Patterson noted there's a race against the clock to minimize its effects on Guyanese lives and property. InfoHub learned that Mahaicony was one of the hardest hit areas because of the continuous erosion of the earthen foreshore, commonly referred to as the sea dam, along with the extensive mangrove damage brought about by climate change. Nevertheless, government has initiated multiple contractual and emergency works prior to the spring tide to strengthen the already weakened sea defenses. With Wednesday, October 2nd being the last day of the current spring tide period, residents have been reminded to comply with all warnings and advice given by the Civil Defense Commission and other agencies. Regrettably, this appears to not be the case, even though the information was provided more than 24 hours before the spring tide period began.
So many community members have not heeded the warning that would have been provided to them through the Regional Disaster Management System and through direct intervention by the Civil Defense Commission. So within the space of 2 hours, community members were informed that floodwaters would have entered their homes and properties imminently, something that they chose to ignore, and as a consequence, only responded when floodwaters were almost to the tip of their doors.
Nevertheless, the agencies have made a concerted effort to bring relief to the 65 affected communities across an area spanning 148 kilometers.
A number of key responses would have been undertaken, which includes the relocation of livestock to more favorable and higher ground, sandbagging of private property, dredging of drainage canals and tube installations in communities, distribution of water and cleaning hampers to affected residents.
The government is also exploring providing funds to those that have experienced loss.
So there's going to be an assessment made, and based on that assessment, at the level of the regions, whatever is the sum that is allocated for that purpose, it will be dealt with in an equitable manner.
It is estimated that nearly 400 households have had their homes flooded. There has been loss of livestock in addition to produce from subsistence farmers. CDC will continue disaster relief efforts. Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.